What's up everyone, welcome back to Let's Play Bayonetta. In the last episode we fought the second of the cardinal virtues, the cardinal virtue of temperance, temperantia, and now we are going to be going on to Route 666. Always just want it to line up with the end of the loading. It never happens.
That bridge in these heels? I don't suppose I can call a cab to get me to the island.
Look alive, people! We have an unidentified vehicle approaching. Close the gate!
Did you see that? I told you there was nothing to worry about.
Mummy saved us.
What?
Hello there, Cheshire.
Shit!
Mummy!
It seems your driving is on par with your journalism.
I figured I'd beat you to the island, but the guards had another idea, didn't they? Not really my best plan, huh?
You think you've got me figured out, don't you?
We journalists have to have some detective skills, you know. You're after a gemstone, and that stone has to be in the Ithaval Group building. I'm headed there too.
How odd. You seem to know where I'm going before I do. Yet you don't seem to know how to drive a car in a straight line.
What am I? A chauffeur?
Cheshire, do you have any idea what prolonged walking in this salty air will do to my hair?
Well, I tend to use some product when I go to the beach.
Little one, get down! Put your foot down, Cheshire. I'll take care of our pest problem.
Wonderful.
I'm getting the distinct impression I'm not wanted on that island. But I love it when people play hard to get.
Okay then. So this chapter is a pretty big departure from our normal chapters in that there are absolutely zero Alpine gates, or Alpine portals. Also, there are no journal pages in this one as far as I know. There are a few collectibles, but for the most part, it's just going to be combat, and a little bit of driving. So, you might notice the music here in the beginning. It was especially prominent. Oh shit, I fell off. So the song that plays is a remix of the Splash Wave theme from Sega's Outrun. And there are a lot of cool musical Easter eggs like that in this stage, but I'm not quite so familiar with the other one, so I have to kind of listen out for it around the time that I think it pops up. For now, though, it's just kind of this... I want to call it an auto-scroller, but it's not really. Actually, it's not an auto-scroller at all. Just hop from... Damn it! I hate falling off in here. On here. But it's a really weird thing to damn it, I did it again. It's a weird thing to judge, especially since the platforming thing hasn't been all that big in Bayonetta up till this point. It does make for a pretty cool spectacle, though. So remember in the last episode how I was talking about the groups of 3 lusts being a giant pain in the ass? Well, here we go. Also, the car patterns here are kind of interesting in that they aren't random, and the pattern of traffic you get depends on the difficulty you play on. Like, each difficulty has a unique car pattern. Also, this fight's going okay-ish. There's just one big thing I want to avoid, and that's having the lusts reform. And I think if you take too long finishing them off, that can happen, unfortunately. So you might notice in the left lane here, the cars aren't coming while my camera is facing towards the traffic, towards where the traffic should be coming from. Okay, this is the theme I was thinking of. I'll talk about that in a second. So I didn't know what Irenic meant until I played this game. It's one of those words that I've never heard in casual conversation or even reading before. It's a synonym for amicable, but it might as well mean useless because these guys aren't any obstacle whatsoever. In fact, once the initial rush of this section wears off, it's kind of boring, honestly. There aren't too many obstacles, there aren't any real enemies to worry about, and it's the same stretch of like 3 things over and over. There's an archway, an off-ramp, and a tunnel, basically. And you rinse and repeat that a bunch of times. If I feel like being particularly harsh towards Bayonetta, I would say it's probably pretty close to as bad as some of the Resident Evil 6 driving sections, which I think come up in either Leon or Albert's campaign. Luckily, this is a much better game overall, so we'll forgive it for this. So I was saying there was another really prominent theme remix, and it's right here in this section. So this is a remix of Sega's Afterburner, the main theme to that, and like Splash Wave earlier, you can change the track. Oh, I forgot to mention that. Yeah, you can change the version to the original version by hitting a certain button. I can't remember which one. And you can do that here, except there are 3 versions of this theme. There's one with a melody, one without the melody line, and there's a very rare original version before any alterations were made, plus this remix right here. And again, this is the main theme to Afterburner. And they do a lot of these Sega references because Kamiya treated their partnership as more than just a business alliance. Also, I don't know if you could see it, but the license plate on the bike reads VI6RID, if I remember correctly, or Vigrid. So I said that there are just a few collectibles in this section, and they come up all during this part with a motorcycle. Or I mean during this chapter, all during this part with a motorcycle. And I kind of need to watch out for the 2 specific ones. I think they're both witch hearts that I'm looking for. One is on an archway. I don't know if it's this one coming up here or the one after it. And then there's another one that comes off of an off-ramp somewhere that I need to be kind of careful about, because unfortunately one of the drawbacks to this section is that there is no turning back. Okay, that's the heart up ahead. For a second I thought I just sped right by it. That would have sucked. So the only thing that damages you here, and this is kind of what contributes to it being a little bit of a boring section, is that only the trailers that go horizontally across the street and act kind of like a barricade, they will damage you if you don't slide under them or just avoid them, and enemy attacks will damage you. But if you just keep holding forward and, holding the accelerator down and holding the fire button down, you won't have any trouble whatsoever. Other than that, it's just kind of sliding at the right times in some places and jumping and hopefully not falling off of bridges, because there's some wonky... Oop, hit the mic. There's some wonky collision detection that happens whenever parts of the street break off and like jut upwards. It's kind of hard to explain. I think the off-ramp is coming up somewhere around here. Is this the one? I think this is probably it. Because there's a couple of these. Oh yeah, and you have to jump at the right times too. Oh, is this bad? Yeah, it's pretty bad. Okay, so where does that set me? Before the off-ramp? Yeah. I think those gates are the only other things you really have to avoid. What? There is some of the wonky collision detection I was talking about. It'll be really, really irritating. It'll all be worth it, though. VTech just kicked in, yo! It's a neat spectacle, but it's too repetitive. And the part of the problem is that a lot of this was actually rushed, like kind of thrown together at the last stages of development when Platinum thought they would have more time to flesh out this stage, or at least this section of the stage, and it proved to not really be the case. So you get enemies like the Irenics, which, as far as I remember, they don't ever come up again after this chapter, and they don't really even do anything. Their presence, it's kind of hard to even notice they're there with everything going by so quick. I mean, yeah, that's really the only noticeable effect they have, is the 3 little laser grid things. But yeah, they were mostly a last-minute enemy. However, they were good for tangential learning, because I learned the word Irenic. Yeah, you can see even colliding with the cars doesn't hurt me whatsoever. This is a kick-ass theme, though. I actually hadn't heard of Afterburner until I played Bayonetta. I think the second time was when I found out what Afterburner was. Oh, come to think of it, there's another cheeky little Sega reference in here. And I forgot to point out when it came up, it's the, when the controls show up for how the motorcycle handles, in the top, it says something like motorcycle, and the text the font that text is in is based on the logo for Sega's Hang On. VTech kicking in all over the place here. Some more wonky collision detection. That time it at least worked in my favor. I just clipped straight through the tanker. The merciful thing about this stage is even though it's a little bit dull and there's not too much going on, it is pretty short. It's a very short stage overall. That is badass, though. Gotta appreciate that and the music and the floating on nothing.
Holy crap! For fuck's sake, that's overdoing it!
Right! Turn right! Get off the road! I know you don't want me here, but you really could have been more subtle about it.
Yep. So these guys are Braves and they come in packs of 3. All they are is tiny beloveds. And the unique thing about them is they can form together, they can coalesce into one whole regular beloved. And they aren't super dangerous, but I'm low on health and oh shit. It's always, God, I really never expected this to actually be a problem. Oh man, I'm cutting it way too close. Oh, there they go. Yeah, and unfortunately, no matter how much you damage them, when they coalesce into that beloved, the beloved starts with full health, which just makes that big pain in the ass. Especially for me at super low health. Then again, it is... Oh man, I was just about to say, it's easier to manage one big enemy than 3 little ones, but took a straight hit. I really have no idea when I lost all that health. I know I took a bunch of hits on the beloveds, but they didn't seem like they were doing much damage. I think a majority of the damage I took in that stage was from the lust fight. Either way, it's not gonna happen again, so no biggie. I should start keeping red hot shots. Is that what they're called? Yeah, I should start stocking those up since they're super cheap. Or I could just play better. And that's it for Chapter 8. I almost sucked at Roman numerals for a second. So this is Part 17, Route 666, Chapter 8, done. And the next chapter, I don't remember what it is. Could be a bad sign. But let's move on with Angel Attack and wrap the episode up. The thought just crossed my mind that I was gonna say that I've consigned myself to being like defeatist and saying that I just suck at Angel Attack. Then I started doing well, and then I went off on this spiel and then missed like 3 or 4 in a row. It's always a fun regular feature of this Let's Play is the self-deprecating Angel Attack section at the end of every chapter. Anyway, thanks for watching, everyone. Hope you enjoyed this episode. Be sure to tune in for the next one. Take it easy. Have a good one.